Hi everyone. I really wanted to do a video on depersonalization and derealization, probably the most because I know how horrible this aspect of it can be. If you're going through this, you're not alone, and I just wanted to tell you from somebody who has been through it that I'm feeling really great now, and I feel like I understand depersonalization more than I did before. If you're going through it and you're not quite sure if you have it, all I can say based on my personal experience is that when I felt depersonalized, I felt like I was watching myself from an outsider's point of view. And it sounds kind of weird, but so basically when I was talking or when I was doing an action, I felt like I was watching myself, like someone's up here and I'm watching myself do it, almost disconnected from your body. And if you hear that, you're probably like, that sounds really weird and it's creepy. It is. It's a really scary feeling. It's and it's hard to describe in words. Anybody that's been through depersonalization that I looked up and wanted to read about, they say the same thing. It's almost impossible to put into words. So, and a sense of feeling numb, that's quite common when you have it. I didn't feel too numb, but I get that. I did feel you don't feel any particular emotion very strong. You just feel weird. You feel weird and tripped out all day. So it's really horrible. And derealization is more when your surroundings don't feel real. Everything feels like it's not actually real. You're in a video game or something. I didn't really have derealization this time when I wasn't well, but as a child I remember just occasionally having panic attacks, and I would say to my mum that I don't feel real. And at the time, it was just something I said because I couldn't describe what I was feeling. And after I read about depersonalization, derealization, I thought, oh, it was obviously that because it was after a panic attack. Now, this is what I want to talk about. It's very common that people feel depersonalized or derealized after they experience anxiety or depression. It can go hand in hand. So the last thing to go before I got better in 2012 was depersonalization. And when I got it again in 2015, I thought, oh my God, what is this? How is this happening again? But it was obviously due to high levels of anxiety and depression. Now it can come on its own, but it's very common that it is linked with one of these. So if you're feeling feelings of like feeling numb, your vision's a bit funny, like it's not exactly blurry, but it just feels weird. It feels like you haven't had sleep in like a week. And if you're feeling feelings of feeling disconnected from your body, watching yourself, things aren't real. They're very common after you've had high levels of anxiety and depression. So I know that when I was going through this was one of the things that was the hardest to cope with, and I wanted it to go away so bad. So if you're watching this, I'm sure you do too. I do have bad news and good news. The bad news is I don't have anything to tell you that is a quick fix and you're going to be better after I tell you. But the good news is I can tell you that it does pass, and that what's happening to you is just you're so absorbed in yourself because of your condition, your anxiety, your depression, whatever you're going through, that is very common to get so far in yourself that you start watching yourself, that you start getting observant of yourself, and almost like that's all that's happening. So I just want to tell you that you're not dying, it's not forever, you're not going crazy, and there's nothing to be afraid of. If you feel anxious while you're feeling really depersonalized, that can make it stronger. So I know it's easier said than done. If this is freaking you out and sending you into panic attacks, or just, high levels of anxiety, I know it's not easy to just turn it off, but I think that if you can hear from me that you're not going to die and it's not something that is permanent, that could potentially help you just to relax and almost write it out. What I did was I thought, okay, I hate this feeling so much and it's stopping me doing what I want to do. So what I would recommend is that you do something that you used to do before you felt depersonalized and push through it and pretend that you don't have it, and it tricks your brain to think that you're okay and actually distracts you from it, even momentarily. This is what you just need to do, just to start with. if you can just get a couple of seconds of relief in the depersonalization. So I was already a lot better, like I could function a bit better at this time. So I went out to dinner with my family and I felt so depersonalized. I remember that night and it felt really uncomfortable, but I could tell that they actually couldn't see that. I didn't explain it that night how uncomfortable I felt, but I could tell that by looking at me, you wouldn't be able to tell that I felt that way. So I just pretended almost. So I'm not very good at pretending to be in a state if I'm not in that state. But I thought, God damn it, I'm not going to let this stop me from doing things, because it's usually the last thing to go if you had a really intense anxious period or a depressive period. Once that gets under control, the depersonalization can be this thing that hangs around just to the end, and that's what it was with me. It's just this last thing to go, and I just wanted it to go so bad. So I thought, damn it, I'm just going to do what I did before and pretend it's not there. And it actually works. You just push yourself to do something that you feel so uncomfortable doing, and it can actually pull you out of it, because you distract yourself temporarily. If you sit at home thinking about how depressed you are because of the depersonalization, that'll make it last longer. And I know that's easier. That is easier. That is what you feel like doing. But just push yourself again. Be kind to yourself. Do something really small. Sorry, the dog's barking at the door, so sorry if you can hear that. The other thing that can help is going for a walk and doing something that gets you in touch with your senses, because it makes you feel more connected to your body. For example, going out for a walk and seeing things around you, touching things. You're not real, you just feel that way. So doing things that engage your senses is quite helpful as well. So unfortunately I don't have a cure. I've heard there's no medication that just takes it away, but as I've spoken about in my other video, medication for anxiety and depression can be quite helpful depending on what you're going through, your situation. It's different for everybody. So there's no, not that I know of, there's no magical pill for depersonalization, derealization, but it does pass. You have to distract yourself long enough to forget about it and pull yourself out of it, as horrible as it is. If you're going through this still after a long time, I'm very sorry to hear that. It sucks, but you are going to be okay. I would recommend doing things that you did before to trick your brain. That's all really. I feel bad because I feel like I wish I could tell you something to just snap you out of it. That's what I wanted so much. But I don't know a really quick thing to snap you out of it. It's just, that's what I had to do. After a few occasions of just tricking my brain, it passed. So I hope that you feel better really soon. Until next time.